one of the hardest relationships to end, even if you're actually not happy and you know it, is the relationship which is good sometimes, which is the relationship where the other person shows up for you, is there for you, says some of the right things sometimes. And then mixed in with times where there's a massive disappointment or there's a complete mismatch in the way this person lives and what they've presented to you about their character. Their actions and their words don't align all of the time, only sometimes. This relationship can create something called cognitive dissonance, which throws you into a state of confusion, which makes it really hard for you to trust yourself when it comes to knowing if this person is right for you or not. I see so many people in this situation with somebody who is half there, most of the time there, and maybe sometimes really not there. Creates an environment of something that you want to keep, but then throws in something into the mix which completely baffles you and makes you question the validity of what they're saying and the relationship itself. If you've been in this situation, you start to feel crazy. You start to feel like there's something wrong with you and that you're the problem. Because the times where they are there seem like everything is okay. Now, I'm not going to put a label on what this relationship is and who this person is in your life, whether they're avoidant, narcissistic or whatever. I don't know, because everybody is in a different situation. But when someone is inconsistent, it creates such a nervous system reaction, which is saying, I'm not safe, I need more information, which leads people to thinking more, to trying to figure out more, to want to get more information, which leads to the other person then, if they have this fear of engulfment or a lot of shame in their system, then they start feeling threatened, which makes their negative behaviors worse. And then there's like this vicious cycle that goes round and round and round and round and round, and it makes you feel like you've lost your mind. So I wanted to do a video just to simply say that if you're in this situation, or you have been in this situation, or you were in this situation before, you're not crazy. It is just one of these things we need in relationships for them to thrive: consistency. Right? And it's one of the things that you can look at this person, look at their life. Have they maintained friendships throughout their life? Have they maintained healthy connections that lasted a long time? How are they perceived by other people in their life? Now, bearing in mind that these people are often quite good at being a certain way, depending on the situation. They're a bit like a chameleon. Sometimes it can feel really invalidating when people around them just see the best in them all the time, and you see these little dips in their persona, the moments where they are likely to let you down, maybe get snappy, maybe they're dismissive, maybe they're rude, maybe there's something that you don't agree with, and then they show up in another way outwardly, and it makes you feel like you're the only one experiencing it, which is another reason why it can be really, really isolating. But one of the sort of telltale signs, like a really green flag for a relationship, is if they've maintained long-standing friendships with people that have lasted since basically their childhood until now, right? This is something that can really tell you if they have a secure attachment, if they are valued by people around them for being consistent and loyal, yeah? But if they haven't, then it makes you wonder, what happened then? What happened to all of their friends from the life that they've had? What's their relationship like with their parents? That's a massive thing that can help you understand more about this person and more about why this person is showing up the way that they're showing up. And again, like it can be very confusing, because they can be very lovely some of the time, and then they can be not lovely other parts of the time, And that can make you think, who are they? Which again throws you into questioning, ruminating, trying to figure it out, which makes you feel like you're overthinking. And the reason why you're overthinking is because your nervous system has been dysregulated from the inconsistency. And when someone's thrown in something that you really want, like love, affection, attention, and like validation, you hold on to it for dear life, like wanting the rest of them to kind of catch up and be there so that you can trust it, so that you can stay. But then there's part of you really questioning these other little things that make you go, huh? What? That doesn't line up. That doesn't match up. And, compare it to people in your life that you feel genuinely like you just know who they are. You trust them, you feel safe with them, and you can breathe with them, right? There are people like that in your life. And when you compare it to someone who is inconsistent, who's there, they're not there, it makes sense why you would feel very confused. And like I say, it creates this cognitive dissonance, and it actually hooks you in so that you want to keep staying to get those highs. And it creates this kind of loop of highs and lows and highs and lows, which can be really addictive. So it makes sense why this is an incredibly difficult relationship to end or leave, because you're worried that you might be wrong. And it might be you being oversensitive, and it might be you being over the top. Yeah. Just to say that if someone's being inconsistent, your nervous system is appropriately reacting to a threat of uncertainty. Basically, too much uncertainty makes our nervous system go, what the fuck? And so we start scanning more, and that makes you anxious. So I just wanted to give you this validation, basically, to help you understand. I've spoken to like literally 3 people today who've been through this. So it feels like a lot of people are going through this right now. And it's a really, really hard one to navigate. And what you need is to build your self-trust. People who have a low sense of self, or not a low sense of self, but a weaker sense of self because of the past relationships that they've had, or because of parenting issues when they were younger or whatever, has led them to not trust themselves. And that is something that we can build through safety, safe relationships, validation, mirroring work. And this is something that I'm doing in the Breakthrough 2025. You still have time to sign up. There are people looking at these spaces at the moment, but if you want to grab one of the last spaces, then you can find out all of the information about how to do that. You can book a discovery call either today or tomorrow. We start tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. UK time. It's going to be a beautiful 12 weeks of connection, healing, growth, and going into 2026 feeling so much freer and better and more self-trusting, so that you know that this isn't going to happen again. So if you want any more information about this, you can find out how in the link below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.